All right, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Listen, yesterday when Squash was sentenced to his prison time in the United States of America, we gave information really early in the morning, around 8 a.m. The information that was published from a credible source, and the same sources have now changed their information to say that he got 27 months instead of the 48 months that we originally announced. We're talking about dancehall artist Squash. We're talking about the very popular dancehall artist, famous dancehall artist Squash. Big Breeze, dancehall artist Squash. Hate Being Famous, dancehall artist Squash. Okay? His journey with the U.S. law, should we say, or judicial system, has come to a point where he was officially sentenced to whatever time he was going to be doing behind bars. Now let's run that down for you, because over here, we have no problem correcting information. We also want to make sure that we stay credible at all times. So, dancehall artist Squash today, as I am checking Irie FM, Jamaica Star, Jamaica Gleaner, and all the other news media houses have now said that it is 27 months, not 48 months. If you remember, Squash was facing 15 years. The judge could have given him every bit of 15 years. Yesterday, when we did the video and we said he got 48 months, we also said there were a lot of people who were hoping, wishing, and praying that he would get way more than 48 months. We also said that the 48 months, he will walk it down and he will be home and he will be able to continue his life. So his haters did not get a chance to celebrate like they thought they would. They really thought he was going to get 15, 20, 25 years. As a matter of fact, this is how the original story goes. When he was originally caught, allegedly caught, because I wasn't there. So according to U.S. officials, when he was originally caught with the gun that was modified, everybody knows that in the United States of America, if you are caught with a Glock with a switch, or what we call in Jamaica a chip Glock, that you are going away for a lengthy period of time. You don't have to take my word for it. Look up a .gov site on sentencing guidelines. Go to YouTube's or Google search engine rather, and look up state of Florida and look up how much time is given behind bars for XYZ. In this case, for being caught by law enforcement with a modified weapon or a Glock with a switch. And you will see what the time says there. Don't take my word for it. He was looking at a lot of time. Not to mention other things that he was accused of, like being the leader of a transnational criminal organization, gang leader. But under Donald Trump, it became transnational criminal organization, which would then qualify it as a terrorist organization because you are organizing people in the United States of America on U.S. grounds to commit terroristic acts. Right. If all those things had stuck, he would have been gone for a long time. And this is what a lot of people were praying for, right? With fame comes hate. With fans come haters. So if you have 1 million fans, you probably have 1 million haters as well. In Squash case, it is no different. So with that said, the haters, should be even more disappointed now that we're correcting the information to go from 48 months to actually only 27 months, 2 years and 3 months behind bars. We'll talk about that 2 years and 3 months in a minute. And I'm going to take that information straight off of the government website. So the sentence was imposed after Squash pleaded guilty to 1 count of possessing a firearm while he was illegal in the United States of America. I don't know if you know it, but in the United States of America, especially in the state where Squash lives, which is Florida, we can now walk around with the AR-15 or AK-47 slung across our backs or in front of us on a sling. We can walk around carrying a 9mm on our hip. We can carry our guns now for the world to see. Florida has become one of those types of state where you can open carry. The gun laws have become very lax here because in recent times, the governor of Florida also put in place that you no longer needed a permit to conceal carry. So as long as you do not have a criminal record, you can very well walk around with a gun under your clothing and no one can tell you anything about it because it's the law. As a matter of fact, you can walk around showing that gun to everybody and no one can tell you anything. I'm not saying waving it at people in a threatening manner. I said walk around with it visible to the public. It is safe and secured in a holster. It is on your side, but it is outside of your clothing where everyone can see it. Not a problem. The problem with squash situation is in Florida or any other state that allows you to carry a gun, you must either be a permanent resident, which means you must be a green card holder or you must be a citizen. In Squash's case, he was neither. He has no green card, he has no citizenship, but he did have a case before the immigration courts that he was waiting to be called up where they would have told him if he was going to be able to stay or not. Given his situation and the fact that he was married to a U.S. citizen, he probably would have won his case had he not gotten in this type of a trouble and is now doing this time. Listen, let's talk about this part. For him to get 2 years and 3 months, in 2 years and 3 months' time, Donald Trump will still be president. I'm going to say it again. In 2 years and 3 months' time, Donald Trump will still be president. Under the Trump regime, it is highly likely, I would give it a 99.9% that Squash is going to get deported back to Jamaica. That is just my guess. Now, under the previous number that we mistakenly mentioned, because we got that from what we thought was a credible source early in the morning, which has now also changed their information, that 48 months, it would have allowed him to outlive the Trump presidency. In other words, Trump would have been gone from office by the time it was time for him to get out. And who knows, maybe the next president would not be so harsh and would be in the process of reversing everything that Trump had done and would probably look at his case and say it wasn't a violent case. He didn't harm anybody. He was trying to get his papers straight. He was conducting business and keeping a gun to protect himself. Give him a chance. Well, that's not going to happen because in 27 months, Trump will still be president of the United States of America, which means ICE will still be as active as they are now, which means the goal to put as many who were not born in this country, who have gotten in trouble out of this country, then that means more than likely Squash will be leaving on deportation orders as well. I don't think he minds. He'll be all right when he gets back home, right? It's not like he is one of those people who are desperate as in financial aid and desperate as in he has no money and has nowhere to go kind of thing. It's not a deportee where I come back with one scandal bag and him not have nothing in him yard. He will be just fine. Now, the other politics that happens in Jamaica after this, that's going to be a whole different story and a whole different bridge that we will cross when we get to it. The sentence was imposed after he pleaded guilty to one count of possessing a firearm while illegally in the United States. So if you notice that the chip Glock or modified weapon, automatic weapon charge was dropped. If you notice also the gang leader charge or the leader of a criminal organization or the leader of a transnational criminal organization was not imposed because he was never charged with it in the first place. It was just an accusation along the way, which his lawyers fought and they won. Listen, if you're out in these streets, right, lesson of the day is stack you some money so you can pay for your lawyer, because I've seen too many out in these streets. And I'm not saying Squash was out in these streets, but I'm saying If you're out here doing your thing, then stack some money. Because I've seen too many not stack their money. You in the club, you at the bar, you buying bottles, you do name brand everything, nice car, and then when you get locked up, they go with the public defendant because they cannot afford a private attorney. Squash's attorney in this case was worth every cent. Squash's attorneys, he had more than one attorney. His attorneys in this case was worth their weight in diamond and gold. Let me say it again. Squash's attorneys were worth their weight in diamond and gold. The time just keeps getting lesser and lesser. We heard 48 months first. Now we hear 27 months. And next thing we're going to hear is way less than this. 27 months kind of breaks down to 2 years and 3 months. Well, here's what could really happen. So during the proceedings on November 24th, prosecutors presented video evidence from Squash's phone of him handling and firing multiple weapons, including the pink Glock pistol at the center of the February 2025 arrest. His attorneys argued that a lighter sentence would be the better thing to do since he would eventually still be incarcerated in ICE immigration custody even after serving his time behind bars. It seems like his attorneys actually, to the contrary, got what they wanted. Yesterday we said it seems like the judge doubled what the attorneys asked for. They did not. And today is why I'm saying his attorneys were worth their weight in diamond and gold, because he got 27 months. His attorneys asked for 24 months, right? 2 years. So with that said, here's a reason why we might hear that 2-year sentence be even less. So federal prison time is calculated by, and now I'm going off the government site, federal prison time is calculated with a judge's sentence, which considers factors like the crime's severity and the offender's criminal history based on the federal sentencing guidelines. Listen, this initial sentence is then reduced by credit for time spent in official detention before sentencing and by subtracting up to 15% for good conduct eligibility. Additional credits for early release under the First Step Act can also be earned for good behavior and program participation. So there are lots of different things that can be applied to Squash that will get him out in way less time than what he went in for. He went in for 2 years. So under the First Step Act, the First Step Act is kind of like FSA, it's called, and it basically is you get into a program where you earn good behavior points if you participate in a good behavior program. So if he's not back there getting in trouble, wilding out, doing anything, a percentage of his time will be knocked off. Up to 15% of his time will be knocked off. Let's say they take 15% off there. And then they have the First Offenders Act, which means if it was his first time getting in this type of trouble, he qualifies for another 15% time off. Now we're down to 30% already. And then, of course, there is time there off for good conduct, time off for first offender, and time off for the time that he had already been incarcerated leading up to his actual day of sentencing. Squash was arrested from earlier in the year, right? So him being arrested from earlier in the year, I believe he was arrested in February. And he wasn't convicted until November. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. That qualifies for another 10 months off. So if you subtract 10 months plus 30%, he is probably going to do a year or less in confinement before he is deported, if deportation is what comes with his case. Go back over the breakdown that I just gave you. You can go to the I would recommend that you go to the government website for sentencing guidelines and you can read this for yourself. That information is found at the federal sentencing, the United States Sentencing Commission.gov. United States Sentencing Commission.gov. That is government information. So, Squash again will not be doing much time in prison. He will actually be out of there. Now, if he gets deported, that's a whole nother story. The rest of what we talked about yesterday about his father being incarcerated in ICE custody after he was held with the help of FBI agents and ICE agents while attending one of Squash's hearings, that seems to still be true. And if there is any changes to that, then stay tuned to this channel. We will bring you that. But so far, Jamaica Gleaner, Jamaica Star, and other credible sources with proper information have posted that he is indeed in custody. That's the father. I'm going to leave this video right here for now. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll close by saying this. If Squash haters were not mad before, they certainly are mad now. For those who were wishing for 15 years, for those who were even happy when we said 48 months yesterday, for those who even think that the 2 years and 3 months was going to be all 2 years and 3 months, they must be very mad right now to find out that there's a possibility that with 215% off under 2 different programs for good behavior and for participation in the First Time Offenders Act program, as well as the 10 months he served before he was actually convicted being taken off his time, could actually lead to him doing less than a year. Me no know if you tell or no. Stop wish bad for people. Squash soon come a road, man. And I think that's what Vybz Kartel meant when him said, the dog soon free. Y'all go see. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.